All right, guys. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome aboard to our weekly market recap, talking about the markets, what I'm watching, prepping you for the upcoming week, kind of recapping the last week. We go over the macro, the charts, and some of our watch lists. So, always fun to do this with you. I usually do it over the weekend, but it is a long weekend. It's Memorial Day holiday today, May 27th. Futures are back open, back to your regularly scheduled program, but I hope everyone enjoyed the day off from the markets. Let's go ahead and get started. Dow futures are up this evening, 38 points. Nasdaq's up about 42. S&P's green as well. Russell's green. The dollar is down below 105. That's very, very important. So again, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple things that I'm watching in regards to the stock market. We'll start with that first. All right. So all-time highs. We've been here before. Nothing new. Right near it. We hit all-time highs just a couple of days ago. We had Nvidia's earnings come in better than expected. That went higher. I'll look at that here in a second. Pulled back, and then we bounced in that last couple of days. So back to pretty much where we started. Let's take a look at the weekly. Are we pretty much back to where we are? Yeah, pretty flat on a week over week basis. So, nothing to get too excited for. This past week was rather quiet, but, now that we have a short week, we're getting into the end of the month now. In terms of the stock market almanac, I got a couple of statistics for everybody. And I went ahead and broke it down here on the live market blog. So it'd be easier for everyone to see. Let's do it. We also have our promos running. If you guys want access to that, make sure to get on our live market blog. Where is this thing? Here we go. This is my stock market almanac. This almanac is available on Amazon. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just like the book. I write my notes on there and everything. Market closed, obviously, today. Day after Memorial Day. Dow is up 23 of the last 38, but down 7 of the last 9. So bullish day. When you have a little bullish signal, bullish symbol, 60% of the time, over 60% of the time on that exact date, the market's gone higher. And then alternately, you have the little bear icons. We have those in some of the pages, but it's not these 3 days. So 3 days in a row, we got bullishness. So does that mean we're going to soar? Possibly. Let's take a look at the seasonality. I know I got that here somewhere. Got so much stuff going on. Let me go ahead and find it. See, we're always updating everybody. I'm trying to find the seasonality for the S&P 500 for the last couple of days. You know what I can do? I got something here. I can do this. So, gotta love access on the phone. So let me see if I can get this going. I just got to search for it on my phone, so just bear with me. Um, you may have to slide in the forward button for a couple of seconds while I search for this seasonality. I thought I had it on the blog, but should be easy to find. I have so many screenshots, so much news and information on my phone. I'm always scrolling, always taking screenshots of information, so I can report that to you guys if I can find this thing. All right, seasonality. I got an idea. Let's just search for it. Seasonality. There we go. That was easy. Late May tends to be strong. This is from Carson Investment Group, Ryan Dietrich. I always use their stuff in terms of their charts because they're great. Always give props to them. They've had excellent work. The 25th on. So the 25th was one team. That was Saturday. 25th on, we tend to be strong. Wow, that rhymes. So the 25th on, we tend to be strong. Let's see if we get that continuation. Again, this is seasonality. Maybe that's what the almanac is talking about in terms of um, what to expect for seasonality in the future. And of course, I opened the wrong TOS. There we go. I already have TOS open. My apologies. All right, so S&P 500 again back to near all-time highs. What do we do here, right? Kind of the deal here, team. Very choppy action. So again, in terms of the S&P 500, there really isn't much to do. But again, I want to pivot this to the macro now. And here's a couple of things that I am watching. So let's go ahead and expand the VIX a little bit. And you could see kind of how this works. You get these big spikes, kind of that downward angle. I know it looks really crazy to see. But again, I had to expand this a little bit. So you could see you get some real big action in terms of the VIX. And you get that kind of spike. And what happens when you get a spike? It falls down pretty quickly. So it compresses though, and then you see how much it spikes. Again, the reason I'm doing this is to give us a little bit of a context. Look at the daily, just continues to sink. This is the volatility index. This is the fear gauge, right? No one cares. Everyone's bullish. Yeah, we've been here before, and we're looking at what the all-time low was, I guess. This is what, in 2018 or something like that. $8, 8.56. We're at where are we at now? 12.36 currently. Um, is there any way to trade this? No, but again, the last time we had a spike was, I believe, on I believe Thursday. The last couple of days. Here's when we got the spike. Yeah, this is the last spike we had. Major spike was, what date was this? Here's the problem with this. Here we go. I believe this is the early April. And then we had one more spike here, the 23rd of May. Very, very small spike. So it's a very complacent market, and it's still kind of in a downward trend. I mean, nothing has really changed. Above 1543, that's where things start getting interesting. If we break above that, then I want to start looking at possibly going short on the future side. Again, things can get overbought rather quickly. We know a lot of people get complacent. Let's see if the dollar action lines up. So, if you guys remember this wedge I drew, and of course it's been holding up perfectly, but we rejected the 20, we rejected the 50-day. So I do expect a little more downside. The dollar needs to come down more. If we break above the 20, that's when things get ugly on the VIX. VIX will go higher. So let's place an alert. Well, let's just keep an eye above 105. As long as we stay below there, we should have stocks go higher. The thing that makes me nervous is the fact that if we use 105 and it stays above there, we may get up to 106.52. And again, all of this dollar move could happen over the summer. That could spike the VIX. That might spike yields. Who knows? A lot of moving parts. But the dollar to me still is key. And we're still on the yields. Look at this at the 20-day. So something's got to give. It looks like to me, I still have the expectation that yields fall. We do got a couple things on the board. So let's take a look at what's coming up this week. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. All right. Upcoming economic schedule. Did I post that? Yeah, upcoming economic schedule. Let's see. K. Schiller. No, the consumer confidence. We get those all the time now. We got some Fed speakers. Initial jobless claims. That's important every Thursday. GDP. First revision. So again, this is a flash number that always gets revised in the future, up or down. The expectation is 1.2% on a Q1 GDP. The previous is 1.6. Important because if this comes in hot, the GDP number, that means rate cuts are more than likely not going to happen. So kind of want some bad news if fish. I don't know, maybe. If we just get to 1.2 or a little less, that will help the rate cut push or the dovishness, let's just say. Pending home sales, we have that coming up on Thursday. The big one is the core PCE number. The core PCE number comes in. This is the inflation gauge for the Federal Reserve that they use because this includes rents. I believe that this number will be beat this week because rents have actually fallen and used car prices as well, automobile prices. So I think that's where the CPE will either meet expectations or be lower. And I think that's where, we start getting some momentum, at least in the positive in terms of the inflation front. And then we'll see if we get a rate cut maybe in September. There's some hope for July. I don't know if that's the case, but we will wait and see. If the data comes in softer than expected, that's definitely going to help the idea of getting rate cuts in the future. It'll justify it, let's just say. And if it comes in hotter than expected, then we can expect a little volatility. We can always short. We'll see what we get. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the NASDAQ rather quickly. I know on our futures side, we talk about that a lot. All-time highs. I mean, what do you do here? I still have a target around 19,338. That's just following that trend line. Not much to do there. So let's take a look at some names that I'm watching. I put this on the watch list for the week. Let's look at them. I'm going to go first with DAL. Now, DAL, we had some news come out regarding the TSA stating how much the new record of how many travelers are traveling via airport, right? TSA passengers checking in. So that should be a positive sign for Delta and the airlines. So maybe they get some revised guidance. Who knows? Maybe we get some commentary. Maybe sell side analysts get a little excited. Get me above 5207. We might get that in the morning. Keep an eye on the 55 calls. Those have been the ones with the most volume lately, and we've traded Delta before. So again, I like this break 52. target 55. But again, we want volume and we want time. Should be rather cheap. So I like DAL here. GME, I know. They are done with their stock offering. So if you want to take a little, walk on the wild side, here it is, 27.53. That's going to be that gap fill. If you break above that, that is a breakout again. You can take a look at the 40 or the 50s. Hopefully, cross your fingers, they are a little cheap. So understand that if you're trading this kind of name, you're probably not trying to do it in terms of buying time. You're just trying to catch momentum quickly. So this one would probably have to be a same week. If you're willing to take that risk, get above 27.53. We can target 40, 45 to 50. 65 is a possibility. Who knows how much that will cost? But good news, at least with options, than buying GameStop stock itself, is the fact that you have your risk already kind of capped. You can't, whatever you put on in terms of contracts, that's the max you're going to lose. So again, you have your risk already defined if you decide to go long or buy calls on GameStop. Again, I'm going to keep an eye on it. I know you guys like to trade these, so I'll keep an eye on it for y'all. And then Coinbase. There it is. Coinbase is above the 50-day moving average. And again, I'm looking for calls to 280. Now, depends on volume. Maybe the 260s will have some. That could be a little too far the money, but it's a great setup. I do expect this to move higher. The only downside risk is really 215. So again, Coinbase can be rather volatile, just like crypto. Crypto right now, Ethereum's up 3.5%. Again, that ETF talk. Bitcoin is rather flat. It tagged 70,000 over the weekend. I think we might have a crypto summer. Yes, crypto summer. And with that Ethereum ETF getting us a little bit of juice, I like Coinbase at 283. Tag those highs, and we can see if we can do some calls on it. In terms of anything else out there, again, short week. Let's take a look at the results this past week. 2 for 2, nothing to brag about. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, hell yeah, we're kicking ass. I mean, I wish I had more. We had that triple leverage TQQ ahead of NVIDIA. It hit 36%, but I told everyone just a heads up to close it at 2% if they wanted. And we got Apple calls, the 195. So we have some risk open. Couple things as well here. Here is month to date. May, 90%. We only have one loss, which is that Bank of America 40 calls, unfortunately. But pretty solid returns. We're trying to really push the envelope to see if we can get another 3 more this week. That'll get us to around 92%. That would be the second best win-loss of the year, with March being 100%. Perfect. Let's take a look at the quarter. Now, if we can keep this up for the quarter, this would be a new record for us. 28 trades, only 4 losing ones. We still have some open ones. But again, the good news, those are for June. And the June expiry would be in the middle of Q2. So we'll still have that. And again, the goal is for me to stay above that 85% threshold. 80% would always be great on the quarter side. But if we can sustain this kind of pace, we would have a new record as a company for a quarter in terms of option signals. And I want records to be just the baseline now. I want that to be the expectation moving forward. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing, stick to what's been working, and that's been putting in the work day in, day out. And what more can we say? We're just going to continue to do our best and see what we get from there. Should be a fun week. And if we get a little bit of a push, hey, we'll make it a great one as well. And if anything flips, we'll be ready for that as well, as anything can happen in terms of economic data. But again, a short week, temper expectations. We'll see what we get, guys. Have a great rest of your evening. I will catch you guys on the blog tomorrow. Cheers all.